as a man, that is a good question. What you look like without your makeup? That is a tremendously important question. What you look like without your makeup? Is that your? If that's not your hair, what do you look like when you have your natural hair out? Like when if civilization broke down tomorrow, how would you look if you couldn't go to the store to purchase the things that upkeep you?
Mm-hmm. If we was locked in the house during COVID, what would you have looked like?
Yeah, yeah. Like what is that? What does that look like? Same thing for man. Is that your hairline? Did you purchase that hairline? Is that's clean lineup? Is that your hair or is that the
Beijing?
Yeah, the Beijing they put on that. And these are what's your what's your skincare routine looking like? How do you shower? You know what I'm saying? What's your room look like? You know what I'm saying? What's under your bed? You know what I'm saying? Is a bunch of plates and things. It's man and woman.
Plates.
These are all important. These are all important questions that we don't. Well, is that something you can ask? That's something you have to see.
That's true. I mean, I think that's a part of where the maxim "you don't know someone until you live with them" comes from, right? Of like, you really don't know what this person's habits are day in and day out until you actually live with them, right? Over time, because a weekend is one thing.
Mm-hmm. Everyone can put on for a weekend.
Yeah, and also if the visit is in either person's space, a part of it is about respecting the other person's space. If you're at my house, you're going to act differently than you would at your house. And while I'm at your house, I'm going to act differently than I would at my house because I want to have a certain amount of respect for your space. But when we are in a shared space and it's our house, that probably goes out the window. And so how do you behave in that instance, in those circumstances?
And those things can be telling. Those things can be real telling. She come over to your house and she immediately talking about how your joint need to be moved and changed and how this look better. That might be a yellow flag. I'm just gonna say yellow. I ain't gonna say red because she might have a point. I'm just gonna say it's a yellow. It could be a yellow flag if she's not considerate of like how you like to have your stuff.
Yeah, if she's not considerate of your autonomy, then that's a problem.
If it's
because you don't want to be in a space where you're in a relationship with someone and your voice no longer matters. Because what I know is best. Like if it's not a conversation of like, oh, I love some of the things that you have in your place, but I'm really into interior decorating. I'd love to see if we could like add a little bit more you in here. It needs to look. These kind of things will like really brighten up the space, make it look a little bit better. Let's
incorporate the things that you like and then elevate it through my knowledge of how to make this work. And instead of being like, ooh, that was a big yawn. Instead of just assuming that your way, ugly. Your shit ugly because it's not how I would do it. Therefore, you are wrong and I am right, and the only right way is my way. Type or the highway. Not a good look. So what did you think of that clip?
I like it. I definitely agree with you. I think it's a little bit funny. And I do think a part of what he is calling out is that knowledge of a person going into marriage is important. That you need to feel like you know who this person is through different seasons of their life, as opposed to just in this very happy, I love you,
the honeymoon
stage of a relationship.
We do. I know I do not. I'm sure Ciandra will agree with it, but correct me if I'm wrong. We do not condone making long-term life decisions, as in like marriage and things, based off of the honeymoon stage of your relationship. You definitely need to see each other in different seasons. Got to see them, how they are under pressure. How do they feel? How do they act, and how do they behave, and how do they treat you when things aren't going their way? Because when things are going their way, everything is sweet. But what about when things aren't going their way? How do they treat you then? Going on trips together, I think that's very, very important. Like, get out of each other. Go somewhere where you're not in each other's space. Somewhere like a neutral space outside of town or what have you. What are you going to the next city over? You're going across the state lines, or you're even going international for more than a couple days. You know what I'm saying? Well, how does that look like? I think we've mentioned that before. Like traveling together, that's already a stressful process. How was the trip planned? Did she take over? Did he take over all of the planning? Were they micromanage you about everything? Did they not ask for your input about the things that you wanted to do, or things that the things you wanted to experience during this trip? What was each other's responsibilities? Did they follow through on it? How did they act during the travel? Did they drag their feet and almost make y'all late for things that could have been easily avoidable? How do they handle when things don't go their way, like layovers and things of that nature? How are they when they get into the hotel room? Day 3, day 4, what that hotel room look like? What they side look like? All of these things are very, very important that will inform you as to who they are.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I gave y'all a lot of gems on that one.
You did. It was a little ranty.
I know. Why gotta be? Don't call it a rant. I'm just speaking from the heart.
It was a freestyle.
Long form.
Hot 16, 18.
Whatever. I'm not sure how we count bars.
But no, I hear you, babe. I definitely think that having an opportunity to observe a person's behaviors and actions in various states helps inform your knowledge of them. Now, same as we said before, like, you can't date for potential. So if you see something, say something. If you see a behavior that you don't like, that does not work well for you, there is no time like the present to be able to address what you have observed. And you can do that lovingly. It doesn't necessarily have to be conflict. But just like, I noticed that you can be very X. Or I noticed that you can get very anxious around, time and being on time for things. What does that look like for you? Like, what are you experiencing when you go through that? Because for me, it makes me start to feel blah, blah, blah. I start to feel rushed. I start to feel panicked and anxious, and I can't enjoy my time because now I'm feeling like I have to manage your anxiety, or now I'm with you on this manic ride of feeling anxious. So I love to talk about what you're experiencing and see if there's something that we can do differently, or something that you maybe need to do differently to make sure that you don't find yourself in that space. Take a collaborative approach of like, what can we do to make this better for you? Because you driving me crazy.
Hey.
Ting.
Yes.
I like that.
That is correct. That is the collaborative approach. Not everyone is ready or willing to do that, but find you the ones that are. Because those are the ones that you're going to be able to go the distance with. Those are the ones that you're likely going to be able to move past conflict and maintain a steady state of things. People who are willing and able to be collaborative and grow.
Yeah. And I'm sorry I keep yawning. I think I'm ready to eat.
Ooh, she hungry.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to eat the rest of my
breakfast.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to wrap this up because I gotta feed my baby.